magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisilip, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bukaw, may nilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang isap ng wataw at mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw na kailan pa may di magdidilig. Luma ng araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mag-aapi, ang namatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Ama naming sumasalangit, Panginoong maylalang sa langit at lupa, aming ipinagbubunyi ang iyong kadakilaan.
Kami ay nagpapasalamat sa panibagong araw na ipinagkaloob mo sa amin. Maraming salamat sa iyong walang humpay na pagmamahal.
Ikinalulugod namin ang iyong pag-akay sa amin bilang isang bansa sa krisis na aming nararanasan.
Kami ay lumalapit sa iyong kadakilaan. Itinataas namin sa iyong pangalan ang mga namumuno sa aming kagawaran.
Pagkaloob mo sa kanila ang katatagan para sa mga desisyong nakaatang sa kanilang mga balikat.
Gabayan mo ang kanilang mga hakbang sa pagsulong ng edukasyon sa bansa.
Hinihiling namin na iyong ipadama ang pagdamay, pagkalinga at proteksyon sa aming mga guro, mag-aaral at mga magulang anuman ang kanilang pinagdadaanan.
Patnubayan mo ang lahat ng mga guro sa pagpapatuloy ng kanilang paglilingkod sa bayan at bigyan ng proteksyon sa lahat ng panahon upang ang kanilang mga tungkulin ay magampanan.
At sa pagbubukas ng taong panuruan 2020 hanggang 2021, ipinagkakatiwala naming sa iyong mga kamay ang walang hanggang paggabay sa aming pagtahak tungo sa maliwanag na bukas.
Naniniwala kami na aming malalampasan ang lahat ng pagsubok sa pamamagitan ng iyong kapangyarihan. Ito ang aming samo at dalangin sa pangalan ni Jesus na iyong pinakamamahal na anak at aming tagapagligtas. Amen.
Of a changing world, they're standing tall, adept at dealing with whatever life affords. With the skills, the wit, and wisdom all aglow, they'll find their dreams wherever they behold. Guided by the Almighty, they dwell in harmony, with their coastal land and all its nature's grace. Hail to every month, but then you learn to stand. In power they will make our country stand. To make you feel there's so much fun and joy in learning. To keep them safe in every need and right protected. To nurture them and let their passions glow and burning. To light their path and lead them to a righteous life. This is the dream of the division of Masbate, a life of quality education for her children, hand in hand with the the dream of the division of Masbate, a lifelong quality education for her children. Hand in hand with the leaders, teachers, and the whole community, every goal or dream of Masbateños will come true. Come true.
Happy Chinese New Year po sa aton tanan. Good day, dear teachers and school heads of SDO Masbate. Kumusta po ang tanan? Hope na maayo lang po. Sa araw na ito ay inaanyayahan ko kayong makinig at manood. We will be discussing important things which you deserve because we love you. In this Feb-Ibig month. Ayan, hindi ko ma-pronounce talaga ang Feb-Ibig. We give our love to all of you. Sama-sama tayong humanda sa ating mga kakaharapin for this school year. So friends, handa na po ba tayo? I know, handa na kayo? I know that you are always ready. Ready because Masbateño teachers and teachers of Masbateños are really great. So we are facing a really trying time as of the moment. And everybody wants to end the pandemic. However, this is beyond our control. So we will be adjusting to it para po hindi tayo nai-stress. Kaya naman po, let's begin the day by taking care of you all. Here are some of the important points to ponder. Let's all welcome on the line Miss Divine Cervantes. Ayan, Miss Divine will be talking about a very important thing that we should know. Yan, mahalaga din po ito sa iba pa nating magiging discussion sa susunod po na, na 2 oras. Okay. Sana po makatulong ito para tayong lahat po ay makakope sa anumang pinagdadaanan natin and then unawaan po natin ang ating RPMS-PPST for the school year 2020-2021. Okay, so we are having now on the line Miss Divine. Go, Miss Divine.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Can you see my screen? Okay, yung screen. Okay, so good morning, everyone, and thank you for inviting me here. So magandang buhay, happy Chinese New Year. I assume that everyone is relaxing while sipping their coffee because today is a non-working holiday. So let's chill, let's be grateful while learning. So ayun nga, na-mention ni ma'am na we are having or we are discussing about self-care. So the topic that we will be discussing is very popular, yet very in demand, and it has been presented in various occasions. And I'm pretty sure almost everyone knows about it. Siguro itong topic na to ay medyo gasgas na sa pandinig. However, this topic never gets old. It never loses its value, and it's always helpful in managing our daily challenges. So let's get started. So we will be discussing managing stress, or simply called stress management. The question that we want to answer is it a real thing or is just an overreaction? Ayan. Okay, so are we ready na ba? Okay, so to give you a direction of our discussion, let me share to you our objectives. So by the end of this topic, we hope to be able to understand the mechanism of stress. Of course, we want to recognize our role, your role in managing stress. And lastly, we want to acknowledge the coping mechanism in dealing with stress. Ayun po. So I know that everyone has their own understanding already and knowledge of stress. And alam ko din na most of us adults have already formed a certain coping mechanism that helps us when there is stress. Okay. Okay.
Makabalik ka sa ano,
Okay.
dun sa ano, station mo.
Yan na.
Okay, yan. Okay, good.
Okay, sir. Okay. So sorry naman sa technical difficulties that we are facing as of the moment. Okay, so let's go back. We are on the objective. So I'm giving you the direction of today's topic. Okay, so let me share to you again our objectives for this morning. First, we have to understand the mechanisms of stress. For us to better develop a coping mechanism, of course, we have to understand what happens when we feel stress, what goes on in our body. Second, we recognize our goals. So for us to be able to cope adaptively, we have to recognize our own role in managing stress. And of course, acknowledge the coping mechanisms that we have developed through the years in dealing with stress. So ayun po, I know that every one of us has their own understanding already and knowledge of stress. And alam ko din na most of us adults have already developed a certain coping mechanism. And for those who have kids, and for those siguro na mga estudyante na nanonood sa atin, you are on this stage of developing or forming and creating a coping mechanism that will best suit you and that is best developed and can be used. So I am requesting everyone to please half empty your cup and let's fill that with new learning so that we will be discussing this morning. So let us be open in the new knowledge that we will be hearing for today. Okay? So later, mas exciting kasi mas madami tayong matututunan. Especially how stressed are you as of the moment. Ayan. So for those individuals who have go through a lot of stress management, I think very familiar na kayo sa taong to. If there's someone that we want to blame because we experience stress, let us give credit to this person. His name is Janos Hugo Bruno, or we also know him as Hans Saye. Some people sa mga videos or YouTubes, I remember I listened to, sabi nila his name is Hans Selye. Hans Saye or Hans Selay. Anyways, he is the father of stress. Ayan, stress has been widely used and the term has been broadly used across various fields. It was in 1936 that he defines stress as the non-specific response of the body to any demand for change. So there is the response and there is presence of change. And in 1979, he said that stress is a perception of the demands that are imposed upon us because there are too many alternatives. It is important to note that since stress has been used widely, depending on the field of study, stress now became an umbrella concept. Ibig sabihin po, for us to understand better stress, we have to understand its structure, the stressors, it could be internal or external, as well as the different levels. Gaano ba tayo ka-stress? So let's find that out. Now, another definition that we have is from American Psychological Association Dictionary. They said that stress is the physiological or the psychological response to internal or external stressors. It involves affecting nearly every system of the body, influencing how people feel and behave. So every one of us feels stress, right? So alam natin kung ano ang manifestations. But sometimes, nako-confuse pa tayo. So let's go deeper. Stress, again, is a normal human reaction. So does it happen to everyone? Yes, it happens to everyone. In fact, the human body is designed to experience stress and react to it. When you experience changes or challenges or what we call stressors, our body produces physical and mental responses. That is why some of us, when we feel stressed, we feel energized, we feel more empowered. And for others, sometimes because they're so used to this feeling, they feel tired na. So it can be manifested physically by palpitations, there's sweating, there's dry mouth, shortness of breath, fidgeting, and a lot of physical manifestations. So this is stress. It's a normal human reaction. It happens to everyone, and our body is designed to experience stress and react to it. Now, can we live a stress-free life? I often hear this. A lot of people want a stress-free life. However, articles would say, research would say that people experience stress throughout their lifespan. From birth, simula ng pinanganak ka dito sa mundo, naka-experience ka na ng stress. Hanggang sa mamatay ka, we experience stress. At home, in school, at work, or at any situation when dealing with people and with life in general. So everyone has an everyday stressful encounter. Okay, so such experiences of stress can be physical or mental, so ranging from little to life-threatening effects on the body and the mind as well. So it's very important for us to understand the manifestations of stress and to be aware of what's happening inside our body as well as the outside. Okay, so for me, the basic definition that I like while reading all those research and journals is this formula. S is equals to PL, which is greater than R. Simply means that stress occurs when the pressure is greater than the resources. Now, there's tension. Remember that when stress happens, there's tension, there's strain, there's pressure from a situation. So there's a situation, there's a stressor, and for us to get out of that tension, for us to move on from that strain or pressure, it is required for us to use, adopt, or develop a coping skill. Either a new coping skill or a coping skill that we have learned from the past. Remember, those coping skills are developed throughout time as well. So simula nung bata ka, pagalitan ka, you feel sad, may stressor, nakaka-accumulate na tayo ng set of coping skills. Now, it can be adaptive or maladaptive. And later, we will find out. Now, common workplace in stressors. So, of course, for us to manage stress, we have to identify, diba, the stressors. So, where does stress originate in our workplace? So, again, especially ngayong pandemic, no, because of a lot of changes that has been happening, not just for our student but also for our teachers. Lahat tayo nag-a-adapt, right? Akala nila napakadali ng trabaho ng teachers kasi work from home, but little did they know na inside their home, they're not just playing the role of a teacher. They're playing the role of a mother, of a father, or sometimes sister, or sometimes yaya pa, or sometimes tutor. So compared siguro when we have the normal, the pre-COVID era, I would say, before, meron tayong separation of roles. Pag 8 to 10, we act, or 8 to 5, we act as teachers, we act as administrators, we act as principals, yung time na yun. But now, hindi eh. 9 o'clock, we can be a yaya. 10 o'clock, we can be a tutor. 11 o'clock, we play the role of a mother. So, a lot of stress is happening as of the moment. However, what we can do is to adapt and look for coping skills that will benefit us. So, in the workplace, siguro ngayon kasi naging normal na yung lahat. Now, one of the uh, stressors that we experience in the workplace is the physical discomfort. Also, there's interpersonal conflict, and then disorganization and multitasking. Now, multitasking, I'm pretty sure that some of you is uh, very familiar na with multitasking. Sobra-sobra na yung teaching load nyo. So, that's one of those stressors that we experience in the workplace. However, we have to remember that stress is also conceptualized as an imbalance of risk factors and protective factors. Now, these stressors are what we call risk factors. However, if we adapt to it and we effectively succeeded on balancing our emotions, our stress feelings, stress manifestation ng stress sa ating katawan, then they become protective factors. Example, interpersonal conflict. Ayan, every time we go to, palagi ko itong oftentimes naririnig ko to, may kaaway kayo sa school or may misunderstanding kayo. Now, instead that school is a haven for you, an outlet for you to channel change, to channel positivity. Ang nangyayari is, malang umaga, that creates already an emotional turmoil within yourself. However, and that becomes a risk factor for you to develop a mental illness, or for you to become mentally unhealthy. So how do we create that and develop that into a protective factor? Now, for us to develop a protective factor against stress, now we have to mend those interpersonal conflict. Bring joy, bring gratitude in your workplace instead of jealousy and useless. Ayon. So those common workplace stressors can be actually turned into protective factors that will help us protect from stress. Now, of course, I have here teen stress as well. I believe teens are what we call the rebellious years. Adolescent years are the rebellious years. So, ayun, according to research, some of the sources of their stress are academics, extracurricular, post-high school plans. So, for this new normal, I believe everyone is adapting. Everyone has stress in their lives. Everyone is trying to cope up. Excuse me. Ayan. So, hindi lang po, na-stress yung lalamunan ko. So, hindi lang po tayo yung nag-adapt. So, we have to be mindful and be aware na inside our homes, our children, our students also face the same kind of stress. It's just that as adults, we are more adaptive because we've developed throughout the years coping mechanisms that will help us. Okay. So we go now to stress feeling. So how are you feeling today? So as we experience stress, nakakaramdam din tayo ng iba't ibang emosyon. And again, I would like to emphasize the individual difference. What might make me happy may not make you happy. So again, and that is normal because we are humans. We experience a different range of emotions. So let us normalize stress feelings. Huwag tayo na, Naghurumentado siya. Parang ganun ba na parang na-shock tayo. Of course, the person is stressed. What do you expect him to do? Yeah, alang tumawa. Well, for some people, they do that. But for some, they can't just do the same coping mechanisms that you are having. Now, let's get familiar with stress feelings. So, ito, ano to? This is the person having the stress feeling of worrying or worry. When we are stressed, we worry a lot. Ano ba Tagalog ng worry? Okay. Kayo nang bahala. Okay. We allow our mind. This is when we allow our mind to dwell on difficulties, on troubles, on mga utangan natin, yung mga yung kasalanan natin nung mga 10 years ago. So we worry. And then, of course, there's what we call tensed. You know, usually it is manifested in our muscles, especially kanina. I feel tensed. I can feel my muscles becomes tense, becomes more rigid. Yung hands ko are cold. So, ayun, tense tayo. So, there is physical manifestation that akibats with stress. And of course, when we're stressed, sometimes, for some, they feel tired. Parang gusto lang matulog. Parang gusto lang nila, it's either matulog, kumain, hindi nakakatulog. So, ayun. And for others, they may feel frightened. Ayan. Afraid. Ayan, di ba? And then, but for others, they may take stress in a different way. They feel elated. They feel ecstatically happy. Now remember, stress, when we feel stress, when we see stress, when we experience stress, our body sends signal and our body generates energy. Now that's something that we want you to know. Now when we feel stress, there is a fight and a flight response. Automatic yan. Now it's up to us how we channel that energy. Ayon. But for others, especially those who have long term, kasi usually when we talk about stress, we talk about the short term. But for others kasi, they have developed a maladaptive coping mechanism. That's why their stress takes longer. It's sometimes called chronic stress. And unfortunately, they may develop depression, anxiety, and anger. So, ayun. So, that's the time wherein we need to consult, we need to talk to someone for us to manage that stress. Now, I'll just go through this very briefly, this next slide, since I am not a medical practitioner. I am just a registered psychometrician. However, this is not my expertise regarding, what goes the anatomy of our body when it comes to stress. So let's just go through it briefly. Now, inside our brain, when we feel stress and anxiety, remember, anxiety is the body's natural response to stress. So it's a feeling of somewhat apprehension and fear about what's to come. Sometimes when we talk about anxiety, it's during my college years, they say that anxiety is the fear of the unknown. You don't know what's happening, but basta you feel nervous, scared. So it goes along with stress. So what happens inside our body? So for our brain, there is difficulty concentrating. There's anxiety, there's depression, there's irritability, mood, and mind fog. Remember, when we feel stress and anxiety, it doesn't mean that all of this is being manifested, being felt by the body, being experienced by our body. Siguro yung iba, siguro nagkakaroon lang ng difficulty concentrating, pero okay naman yung chan. So let me just share to you what happens to me. For example, when I know I'm stressed, if I have this gassy feeling inside, I know I'm seriously stressed. Ayun. Kung nakakaramdam ako ng parang gassy feeling inside my tummy. So, by doing that, I am aware, oh, stressed ako. What should I do? I have this extra energy. I do breathing exercise. So, ayun. So, kayo, among these symptoms, signs, what happens to your body when you feel stressed? When you lightly stressed or like you're moderately stressed, ano nangyayari sa katawan nyo? Now, I'd like to point this out, the cardiovascular part. Now, when we feel stressed, I remember, yung isang doctor ko na friend, he said that our heart daw pumps more when we are stressed. That's why we have a lot of energy. That is why this is the evolution of the flight or fight response. So within us, we are designed to react, diba? As we mentioned a while ago. So there is increased blood pressure and increasing the risk of heart attack and stroke. So kaya if you want to Google, if you look at the stress related illnesses, number one of that is heart attack. Then there's asthma. And then, ang pinaka nakakatakot talaga yung signs of aging. So the more stressed you are, ako, the more makikita yan sa mukha natin. And it's funny, according to research, those ano ba tawag dito? Collagen na nawala dahil sa stress, hindi na yun mababalik sa atin. Kaya makita natin, kailangan nga, pag stress tayo, tumawa lang tayo, mag-smile tayo for us to create and to invigorate ourselves na huwag tayong mag-ponder and iluklok natin yung sarili natin sa depression. So, see, yun yung pinaka-sad part ng depression. Okay, so effects on stress of our body. Another, the physiological changes in our body means that it is preparing ourselves for the flight or fight reaction. That is why we may experience our hearts beat faster, increase blood pressure, because our body is getting ready for action. It is very important that we are mindful of the reaction of our body to adapt and respond appropriately. So, ayan. For some, let me just give you the legend. So for the yellow part, it happens inside our mind. So there's insomnia, there's brain fog, there's mood changes, and we experience headaches. I remember a teacher saying, binigyan siya ng load of work. You know what the teacher said? Ay, wag mo akong bigyan yan. Sumasakit ang ulo ko. And then what she did to cope up with that stress that she's feeling. There is a stressor, load works, and then the reaction, headache. What did she do? She responded to the stress through sleeping. Now, let me ask you, is it adaptive coping mechanism? Is it maladaptive coping mechanism? So it's up to you. Again, psychologists would say it depends upon the intention. So kung gusto nilang matulog for a nap, for a power nap, they say, then it becomes adaptive. Now, if you say na, I'm gonna sleep, and then she slept for 5 hours without doing and forgetting about the workloads that was given to her, then that's avoidance. So that's maladaptive coping mechanism. So again, going back, effects the stress on your body, there's weight gain. I cannot explain to it properly, pero I'll try, ha. Again, I'm not a medical practitioner. Now, they say that when we are stressed, something in our body produces energy, right? So I mentioned that a while ago. Now, we have what we call stored fats. Now, if we cannot work on it, if we don't use the energy, the extra energy that was given because there was a presence of stress, ang nangyayari niyan is na-accumulate siya sa tiyan. And that's one funny thing. Siguro yung stored fats, because hindi natin igalaw, hindi natin na-channel yung stress natin. Na-store siya na fats sa tiyan. So I'm sorry for those na may malaking tiyan. Probably may pinagdadaanan kayo palagi na stress na hindi nyo siya mabuti. So let's galaw-galaw ourselves for us to lessen, the stress. Of course, there's mystery, muscle aches, compromised immune function, yun, mas madibilis. Pag stress tayo, mas madibilis tayo makakuha ng mga colds, flu, ganun. So, bawal ma-stress sa panahon ng pandemic. And of course, kanina na we mentioned in our heart, There's high blood pressure, there's high blood sugar, racing heart, heartburn, and indigestion. Yan. Ito talaga yung number one. I know I'm seriously stressed if nakaramdam ako ng indigestion. And of course, for couples, there's low sex drive. There's for women, irregular periods, and fertility problems. So these are the serious ones na talaga if we have levels of stress na that we are facing. Okay, so we already know the definition, the mechanism. Now, do we want to know our level, or do we want, or do you want to know how stressed you are? Yes? Okay, I guess everyone wants to know. So please grab a pen and a paper. It will sipping coffee. Grab your pen and paper. Of course, in the mammals, Sir PJ, you can also try this. How stressed are you, Sir? Of course, yung OIC namin, Chief. Sir Mark, how stressed are you? This is just a 10-item test, and we'll find out how stressed we are. Okay, ready? Okay, so the rating scale is 0 to 3. 0 means never, hindi nangyayari, or hindi na-experience. Sometimes, paminsan-minsan, often, madalas, almost every day, halos araw-araw nararamdaman, nararanasan. Okay? Okay, so I'll count to 10. And then we'll start. Okay, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. Ready? Okay, let's start. Okay, so remember, this is our rating scale. Okay, so you just choose, put the item number and then the answer. 0, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Okay. So number one, I find myself worrying a lot about problems at home or school or work. So for teachers, for home and school and work na yan. So, minsan nakikita ko yung sarili ko, nag-worry sa mga problema sa eskwelahan, sa trabaho, sa bahay. So, palagi ba? Almost every day mo ba yan nararanasan? Madalas, paminsan-minsan, or hindi nangyayari? Hindi ko na-experience yung pag-worry na yan. Okay, number 2. I feel school or work is affecting my home life. Pakiramdam ko yung trabaho ko sa eskwelahan, trabaho ko, ay nakakaapekto na sa aking pamumuhay, sa aking relasyon or koneksyon sa bahay. Hindi nangyayari, paminsan-minsan, madalas, halos araw-araw. Okay. Number 3. Study or work seems to be one hassle after another. So, nararamdaman mo ba na yung trabaho, yung pag-aaral for the students, ay parang walang katapusan, parang, nagbigayan pa lang ng module, deadline na agad pagkabukas. So, parang walang katapusang hassle, one hassle after another. So, do you experience it? Hindi mo ba na-experience? Sometimes, oftentimes, almost every day. Okay, so at the end of the day, I feel emotionally exhausted. Ayan. Pagkatapos ng isang araw, Sir PJ, tumatawa Sir PJ. Palagi niyo ba nararamdaman yan? Halos araw-araw? Madalas? Paminsan-minsan? Or hindi nangyayari? Okay, so number 5. Malapit na tayo matapos. I get very upset by problems during school day or study hours. I get very upset by problems during the school day or study hours. 6, I wake up at night thinking about problems at work and school. Ito, nagigising ka lang bigla sa gabi. Kasi, wait lang, may nakalimutan akong ipa-Xerox. Wait lang, hindi ko pa natapos yung Module 7. So, gumising ka para mag-print and mag-photocopy. Ayan. Or nagising ka, tapos, okay, matutulog ulit ako. So, how often na-experience nito? Never, sometimes, often, madalas. Or almost every day. Okay, 7. I feel overloaded with the work that needs to be done. Nararamdaman ko overloaded na yung trabaho na kailangan matapos. Ayan. 8. I get tensed and frustrated by deadlines. So do you experience this in never, sometimes, oftentimes, almost every day? Okay, so 9. I feel my work or study is affecting my health. So sa tingin ko, sa pakiramdam ko, naapektuhan ng trabaho ang aking kalusugan. Ayan. Do you feel it never, sometimes, oftentimes, almost every day? And of course, lastly, I feel I am sometimes lang, oftentimes, and almost every day. Okay, so we already na-answer ng 1 to 10? Let's see. I'm excited. Excite bigla. Okay, let's find out yung score nila Ma'am Melds and Sir PJ. Okay, so for the interpretation, what we have to do is just tally all your scores by adding all of them. Total score is 30. Okay, so your score over 30. So just add all of them. Okay, while adding, I'd like to give my appreciation pala to the author of this questionnaire from Patul National High School, Sir Rob De Venecia. If you're watching, hi sir. Artista. Hi sir. Okay, so let's get it on. Let's see what your score means. Okay, may I ask Ma'am Melds, ano yung score mo before I flash yung scores? Sir PJ? 5. Okay, Sir PJ? 14. Okay, let's see. Sir Mark? Okay, feeling ko Sir Mark, 15. Charot. Ako talaga. Okay, let's see. Okay, so 0 to 4, low level of stress. 5 to 15, moderate level of stress. 16 to 30, high level of stress. Now, when we talk about low level of stress, this may result actually to boredom. Parang, okay, I'll wake up in the morning, tulog ulit, stress sa life. This is stress-free life. So, it may result to boredom. However, when we talk about moderate level of stress, where Sir PJ and Ma'am Melds, okay, this may actually improve performance and efficiency. This is manageable. From time to time, we feel stressed out. However, again, moderate level of stress is manageable. So if you're in this range, yun, manageable lang yung stress. However, sino nga, si Sir PJ 14, dalawa na lang, magsi-16 na si Sir. So what will it take you for you to reach 16? Again, too much stressor, ha? Just a reminder, kasi nasa parang borderline ka na into getting the high level of stress. Now, too much stress may cause us unproductive anxiety level. So, for students who are watching, took the test, and if you're on that level, or first principal, ay ba naman, tawagan niyo yung mga teachers niyo, bulabugin niyo, you need someone to talk to. For principals or for teachers who are in this range, please find someone whom you can talk to na you can trust. Tulungan po natin yung sarili natin. Remember our peer group in the schools, they are already our support group. So open up. Sabi nga nila, it's much easier for us to open up to strangers or for someone na hindi tayo blood related. So ayun, Ayun, ay, okay, thank you, Sir PJ. Ay, hello, 261 viewers. Okay, so, ayan, Sir James, okay, 21, grabe na stress. High level, 12 is my score. Okay, your moderate level of stress, manageable, no worries. From time to time, we may feel burnout and stressed. However, with proper coping mechanisms, we can bounce back. You know, Filipinos are resilient. However, for those po na nasa 16 and above, please, 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 find someone whom you can talk to. Or, sleep. For sure, some of us, lalo na pag nasa range ng mga 20s and above na levels of stress, nahihirapan na matulog, probably you can drink gatas, milk, before you sleep. Just to calm your mind, just to calm your heart. And for others, they say wine. Wag beer. Lalaki yung tiyan yun. Stress na nga kayo. Di ba I mentioned a while ago, stress causes our tummy to bulge. One of the causes of obesity is stress because of the stored fats. Because, when we feel stress nga, there's energy being excreted. Nilalabas yung stress. May energy tayo na linalabas. So, ayun. High level daw. Oy, yun, may 9. 19. Walang 28. Ay, bongga yung 1. Okay, stress-free life lang. Okay. So, ayun. So, I hope everyone is, hello po sa ating mga teachers and principals, school heads, master teachers, teachers 1, 2, 3, hello. I hope na if you're on this high level of stress, I'm genuinely praying na you can find someone whom you can talk to, whom you trust, and, just open up. Kung kailangan nyo umiyak, just let it out. Let your emotions carry you. And then, after crying, masuffice na yung sakit sa puso nyo, sakit sa isip nyo, then you can stop and you can think better ways. Remember that through crying, mas nalalabas natin yung ano yung nasa dibdib natin, lalo na yung masakit na part. Char. Okay. Kasi I remember one teacher, she said na, Ma'am, kailangan ko maging strong. Ayokong umiyak. The thing is, crying is a natural response of a human person. If you're not human, then ano ka? If hindi ka umiiyak, it's actually God's creation, yung tears natin. So just let it all out if you feel like crying. Don't pretend to be strong. Don't pretend to be brave. If in that situation, kailangan mo ng kausap, kailangan mo ng someone. So get out of your shell. Okay? Hindi pa po tapos yung discussion, ha? Meron pa. Okay. So let's move on. So how do we manage stress? Stress. Now, again, I heard people say, I want to live a stress-free life. Or is there some such thing as stress-free? I believe what we can do is reduce stress. Now, how do we reduce stress? Now, there are coping mechanisms and strategies that we use to face stress or trauma to help manage painful or difficult emotions. Now, ganun din naman eh. Di ba nahihirapan tayo to conquer or to face someone or to face a stressor because of the emotions. Now, just to give you a Filipino context, I study in UP Diliman. In 2018, they found out, kasi we Filipinos were naturally resilient, probably because of the geographical location or probably what we have been through, nasa genes na natin yung resiliency. Now, if you think about it, ayun na nga, we have our genes, the adaptive mechanism, and they found out, kasi yung study nila was about the coping strategies of Filipinos, and they found out that women are more likely to engage in emotion-focused, which means we are more tolerant, and we want social groups for us to release our emotional pains. And for men, their most preferred coping mechanism is problem-based or cognitive-focused coping. So there's they like logical reasoning. Tayo kasi, very emotional yung mga babae. We're driven by our emotions. That's why it's easier for us to pour out to someone yung heavy burden natin. But for men, they think of it kung nakaka-face sila ng isang stressor or they experience stress in their lives, ginagamitan pa nila ng logical reasoning, problem solving. So, minsan nakaka-drain din yun ng utak. So, for us, talak tayo ng talak, we get emotionally at ease agad. So, why do we need to have this coping mechanism? Okay? Remember, when we talk about coping mechanisms, these are the strategies that we use. Now, what are the benefits? Oops, I'm stuck. Okay. So, what are the benefits? So, the use of coping mechanisms can actually improve mental health and emotional well-being. So, first, it builds confidence. Ayun. So, if we know or if we are aware of the coping strategies that we use, our self-esteem, we are more trusting of ourselves. And it builds confidence. Ay, ano yan, isang gabi ko lang yan magagawa, yung paggawa ng presentation. So, it builds esteem within ourselves and confidence as well. It helps manage emotions. Ayun, yung mga emotion natin, lalo na sa mga babae. So, having a set of coping mechanism can help us manage well our emotion. Of course, it improves independence. Some people kasi, their mechanism is dependent to others. Like, sa boyfriend nila, for example, sa mga estudyante. For them to feel relaxed, for them to cope up with the stress na experience nila as of the moment, they turn to someone, to a person, and they depended on that person. However, if we ourselves develop a sense of coping mechanism within ourselves, then we may improve independence. However, sabi nga nila, there is no man is an island. But then, at some point, kailangan natin, tayo mag-isa, deal with the stress. Diba? Nahirapan ako mag-Tagalog. Okay. Of course, it improves behavior, especially for using adaptive coping mechanism. And it helps through challenges and improves self-regulation, especially our emotion. We can regulate our emotion. Okay, stop na yung pagiging envious. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. So, nare-regulate natin yung pagpasok ng emotion sa ating isip papunta sa ating behavior. And last but not the least, the reason why we want to learn about coping strategies is for us to help manage stress. Okay, so let's get it on. So number 1, this is the decision-making matrix. Ay, sorry naman sa spelling. Na-stress ako while typing. Okay, decision-making matrix. One of the founder of this is, or the one who developed this is Dwight Eisenhower. I'm sorry, I think kung tama ba yung pagka-pronounce ko, but Sir Dwight D. Eisenhower was the 34th president of the United States, and he was known for this ability, or for his ability to getting things done. And one of his most popular concept is the decision-making context, or decision-making matrix. This is very helpful. Now, I'll teach you how to do it. And later, we will have an activity na naman. So, according to him, what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. So, help me to translate it. Kung ano daw yung importante, minsan, hindi agad kailangan. Tama po ba? And ano yung kailangan agad tapusin, seldom na importante. Okay? Okay, tama ba? Naiintindihan ba natin yung gusto iparating sa atin ni Sir Dwight Eisenhower? So, due to the many demands placed on teachers, on us educators, we often can't decide what to do next. Parang feeling natin everything feels urgent, feeling natin everything feels important, everything must get done. But the reality is that Everyone, kahit teacher or hindi, has a limited amount of time and energy. God has given us only 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Minsan kulang pa yung 24 sa pag-print ng module. Yung iba naman kulang pa yung 24 hours, laga ng bata, magpatulog, at tapos gagawa pa ng module. So, however, for Sir Dwight Eisenhower, for us to successfully and to prioritize what needs to be done, we must decide what's important to accomplish, or we will perpetually feel behind and frustrated. So he helped us by having this matrix. Now, if you look at it, okay, there's this first quadrant, the red color, squared color, a red square. It says urgent and important. If you look at the sides, sorry. If you look at the sides na nakalagay doon, important, sa baba, not important, not urgent, and then urgent. Okay, so in the red box, it says urgent and important. So it's urgent and important. So what you do it right away. So our strategy of the activities that we're going to put here is just to get it done. We focus on these tasks listed on this quadrant. They are both time sensitive and they add value. So we do this task first. Second quadrant, which is the orange box, not urgent, but important. So we do it soon. We schedule and then we focus. So we schedule the tasks that are important but not time sensitive. Put this on your calendar. Again, we schedule this. Okay. For the third quadrant, which is green box, this is the urgent but not important. So we streamline, we reduce, and we delegate tasks that are time sensitive but do not help you accomplish your goals. So what we can do on these activities is we delegate or we reschedule. Now, on the last box, which is the blue box, this is quadrant 4, this is not urgent and this is not important. So what we do, we avoid, we ignore. We do not do it during work time. As much as possible, sabi nga to some journals, we eliminate. We avoid doing tasks that are neither urgent nor important. So these are not worth your time. Okay? Thank you, sir. Okay. So, ayun. Now, to give us a deeper understanding of this Eisenhower matrix, ayan. So there's quadrant 1. So what we do with the quadrant 1, we reduce. These are the important ones. Now, the only two criteria we have to understand, according to Eisenhower, that the only two criteria for determining priority is the importance and the urgency. Now, in our field in psychology, when we meet a client and we see, and may they refer, usually magpapa-refer because of neuropsych or whatever. However, if we see that the person is disheveled, may suicidal thoughts, then that's urgent already. That's an urgent case. Remember, siguro if you go to emergency rooms, diba, yung inuuna nilang tinitreat is the urgent cases. So yung life between life and death. So the same situation applies. So what are those things na needs to be done? Deals with crisis management, reduce time spent in this quadrant by doing more in quadrant 2. So again, quadrant 1 and quadrant 2, we schedule. Quadrant 3, we can delegate. And quadrant 4, we declutter. We eliminate, we avoid, we ignore. So what activities are pasok sa mga quadrant na to? Now, we have to remember when we talk about important, the question being answered here is, will this task make a difference? And when we talk about urgency, does this task have a time pressure? Now, we talk about urgency, we talk about time. We talk about importance, we talk about the quality. Okay? Let's move on. So, grab your pens and pencils. Okay, Chinese New Year. Grab your pens and your papers and let's try. You make a quadrant. Okay, let's try to do it. As much as possible, you try to weigh whether nasa quadrant 1, which is the important and urgent, Quadrant 2, important but not urgent. Or quadrant 3, not important but urgent. Important but, ano ba yung quadrant 3? Urgent but not important. And quadrant 4, not urgent pa, not important. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so I'll count 1 to 10. I want you to make a quadrant. Okay, I'll start counting. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. Okay, time's up. Okay, we have our quadrants now. Let's try where we can put these activities. Phone calls and emails. We put it in quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, 4. Okay, yeah. Lesson planning. Ayan. Gossiping. Chismis. We love to gossip. Sometimes, din to, distressed. Para ma-distress tayo. Come to gossip, especially sa lives ng mga, artista. Deadline-driven reports. Ayan, where do you put that? Do you put that in quadrant 1? Quadrant 2? Grade reporting and submission. Ayan. Downtime and self-care and general meetings and social media and K-drama. So, for some, siguro may Netflix. So, diba? May mga pa-Netflix. For others, K-drama. I love K-drama. Nako. Ngayon, I'm enrolled in my PhD. Nako. Sayang. You spend time K-drama. Nako, maubos yung isang oras mo. Yung isang oras mo lang, whoop! Ganun lang. Okay, so let's try if the answers are the same with yours. So tingnan natin yung decision making ng teachers across culture, this is our result. Let's see. Important, urgent. So when we talk about grade submission and reporting, we do it immediately. When we talk about the student's injury or illness, we do it immediately. Nasa quadrant 1 yan. Student discipline, we do it immediately. Yan. Sometimes kasi when disciplining our students, especially nung face-to-face, sige, mamaya ha, kakausapin kita. Pinapaschedule. In behavior modification, when you see a bad behavior or when you see a behavior that is not normal, that is dysfunctional, you acknowledge it, and right there and then you tell the person or the student na may something wrong. Kasi if ipagliban pa, then that won't be effective anymore. So that's according to behavior modification. But anyways, so yun, the same with your children. Okay, so parent communication, inclement weather procedures. So it is important but not urgent, especially for lesson planning. We have time, diba? We have deadlines to catch. However, it is not urgent, so depende din. Co-teacher administrator support, professional development, family time, health, exercise, and hobbies. Now, these are the unimportant and urgent activities. Grade book logging, copying, filing, email management. These are the phone calls already. Special committees, favors for teachers, above and beyond. And of course, this is one thing na siguro sasakit yung puso natin. We eliminate unimportant and urgent. Now, for us to do the priority, for us to prioritize things and do the priority and successfully develop coping mechanism and successfully hurdle stress, we have to eliminate and we have to really avoid gossip and worry, social media scrolling, TV binging, making your classroom cute, elaborate leaving our organization system. So, ayon, these are just previews or these are just overview of what activities can be deemed important, urgent, important, not urgent, unimportant, urgent, or unimportant, not urgent. So, most of us, no, we are running on the hamster wheel. Parang palagi lang tayo. There's one task, one after another. throughout the day, operating as if everything in front of us is important and urgent. Minsan, akala natin lahat ng binabato, lahat ng pinapagawa sa atin, importante and urgent. We have to be able to prioritize things. Sometimes we may say na, kasi it feels that way eh. It feels na parang lahat importante, lahat urgent. However, we can train ourselves to stop, take a breath, evaluate whether the task needs to be done now or it can wait or shouldn't be done at all. Minsan mas na importante pa nga yung K-drama eh. Nauubos na yung tulog mo. Ngayon pag tingin mo sa oras, oh my gosh, alas 3 na. O sige, isang episode pa. And then you go to school, you go to your classroom, you meet your students. Yan. Sometimes naman, okay, let's chill with friends. Ayan. Isang bucket pa. We forgot time. And ayun. So, ang nangyari, mas important and urgent. Yun. So, again, let me remind you, we train ourselves. We can train ourselves. Ibig sabihin, we can adapt. Ibig sabihin, nalalearn siya na skill. Hindi siya sabi na, ay ma'am, kasi bata ako, hindi ako. No, there's no excuse. We train ourselves. Although medyo makunat na kasi matanda na tayo. However, it's never too late to stop learning. So let's train ourselves. Let's take a breath and evaluate. Assess whether the task needs to be done now, it can wait, or should it be done at all? Okay. So, in lieu to that breathing, so let's practice breathing exercise. Okay. I know some of us have seen YouTube tutorials, there's meditation classes. However, I just like to share to you what I found effective, and I've been trying this for a couple of weeks now. So every time I feel tensed, I feel a knot in my stomach, I do this simple breathing exercise. It's what we call the box breathing, also known as the square breathing. It is powerful yet simple relaxation technique that aims to return breathing to its normal rhythm. Remember when we feel stress or when we experience stress or when we see stress, in our environment, bumibilis yung tibok ng puso natin. Simple. Because our body is adapting. Because our body is responding. When we see our crush, ayan, crush natin, sir, crush natin si ma'am, bumibilis yung tibok. So we can practice that. Kung wala tayong nakikita na box, we can imagine, we can visualize. So this box breathing, was practiced actually by a lot of professionals. People with high stress jobs such as soldiers, police officers, they often use box breathing when their bodies are in flight or fight mode. Now, ibig sabihin, yung body nila nagre-respond na sa stress, so they don't know. So, for them to be able to evaluate, assess the task on hand, the stress on hand, they do breathing exercise. This technique is also relevant for anyone interested in recentering themselves or improving their concentration. Because, of course, we are faced with stress, we feel that stress feelings, ayun, nawawala yung ating focus. So by doing this, we can recenter and we can go back to ourselves. Wait lang. Think. Ayan. Focus. Ayan. So what we're gonna do is we inhale 4 counts. We inhale through our nose, and then we hold our breath for 4 counts, and then we exhale through our mouth 4 counts, and then we hold again. So again, the benefit, it brings balance to our mind, it regulates our natural rhythm, and it is effective in dealing with stress and anxiety as well as anger. Okay. Anger. Okay. Now the reason why I'm pretty sure some of you might be wondering why I'm counting 1,000. I remember one video. They said that the reason why they, in emergency especially, they count 1,000 instead of 1, 2. Kasi pag na-stress na tayo, sobrang bilis ng bilang natin. 1, 2, 3. Ayun. But when we count 1,000, kahit stress tayo, parang nare-relax. You try it yourselves. Yung 1,000 is equivalent to 1 second kasi. So in ER, for nurses, kikita natin sobrang kalma lang nila because they count whenever Gaano sila? CPR. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So yun, ba parang may ano, isipin mo kung CPR, 1,000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Adi, bongga, di ba? But anyway, so let's try. Let's close our eyes. Okay? And let's inhale for 4 counts. I'm gonna do the counting. I'm gonna do the whole, I'm gonna tell you what to do. So just close your eyes and focus on your breathing. Okay, let's try. Close your eyes and let's inhale. Guys, let's close our eyes. Inhale 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Hold your breath. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Exhale through your mouth. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Hold 4 counts. 1,000, 3,000, 4,000. Inhale 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Hold your breath. 3,000, 4,000. Exhale through your mouth. 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Hold. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Hold. Okay. Whew. So whenever you feel stress, whenever you feel like there's a anger within you, pause. Yun yung minsan nagiging problema natin as humans. We are emotionally driven. Pag galit tayo, hi, hi, exhale. Instead, what we, remember, oxygen is the life source, or the oxygen is the life source of our brain. Sabi nila peanuts daw, but it's not. It's the food of our brain, yung oxygen. So when we inhale, instead of, hi, we inhale food for our brain. And um, we can think and evaluate the scenario or the stress that we are experiencing as of the moment. So again, when we breathe in through our nose and we keep the lungs full, we hold, we breathe out through our mouth and we keep the lungs empty. We hold that and another. So we can repeat that 4 times. Now, I think some of you have difficulty inhaling up to 4 counts. Am I right? So they say daw talaga, no? Kasi I just read this in a journal. They said that those people who cannot hold their breath up to 4 counts or 5 or 6 counts has problems or has faced a lot of stress lately. Kaya po, it's very useful that we practice as early as siguro 4 years old yung anak natin to count their breathing, to practice breathing exercises because it's really help. Remember, oxygen is food of our brain. So when we inhale oxygen and we exhale, carbon dioxide. So we gently inhale through our nose and we slowly count and then we hold it and then we exhale. Okay. So let's do this oftentimes. Do not forget, before you react, before you say hi, and before you utter a word, breathe the square breathing or exercise square breathing. It has a lot of benefits. It calms ourselves when we are facing stress, when we want to sleep, when we want to clear our head, when we want to when we're making big decisions. Let's do the breathing exercise first to clear our head. Okay? Okay. So, other tips, other coping mechanisms or strategies. So, since some of us are staying at home, okay, we can work out through reading, through cleaning clutter, and playing games. I think for me as a mother now, what is most relaxing household chores that I've ever done is washing the dishes. Paghuhugas ng pinggan. When you wash dishes, it's like you're stripping off the dirt and all your worries away, and then you see the platter or the spoon clean. it's just satisfying. So sometimes we have to be aware of ourselves for us to appreciate little things. So inside our home, what are the coping strategies that we are facing, especially now, no, that na pandemic, a lot of our chickitings are at home. Instead na yung house natin is a haven, sometimes it's a jungle. But let's make the most of it. There's no perfect coping mechanism. Every day is a process. Every day is a struggle. Every day is a new experience. So, uy, naka-maladaptive coping strategy ako. Okay, let's divert. Let's go back. Let's breathe in first. And then yun. So, ayun. Also, just to add some of the reduced workplace stress, tips to reduce workplace stress. Now, we develop a support network. Now, sometimes we go beyond pa sa school natin because nga may kaalitan tayo, may naging misunderstanding tayo. Bakit ganon? Inside our school, we can develop already a support group. So we talk, we seek support that can help us diminish workplace stress. This can mean engaging in your colleagues and coworkers, confiding in friends and family about what's going on, and build new relationships outside your work. So I'm just grateful, especially here in SGOD, we have a support, very good support system, support network. We help each other. We help each other bounce back. For example, if meron naglalag, tinatap namin, we are in a helping community. So I hope in your respective schools, ganun din kayo. However, if it's not possible, meron talagang nangyayari, then be the one to initiate a positive relationship with that person. Remember, hindi kayo lugi kung kayo yung nagsimula makipagkaibigan. Okay? Hindi kayo lugi kung kinain niyo yung pride niyo at kayo yung unang nag-sorry. Kasi after saying sorry, after mending those relationships, trust me, you feel lighter. Wala ka nang iisipan, ay naku, makikita ko na naman siya. But then, in the evening, you'll think that, ay, nakapag-sorry na ako. Ay, okay na kami. You know? And things can get easier. Hay nako, napasa ko na yung pinapapasa sa akin ni Madam Principal. Hindi na ako tatago-tago. Okay? So, next, delegate responsibilities. Ayun. For our principals po, wag naman po natin ibigay lang lahat ng responsibilidad sa isang tao just because he is Microsoft equipped, adept siya sa, Microsoft skills, marunong siya sa PowerPoint. Ibigay lang natin dun sa millennial na teacher. Let's also give chance to those generation, boomerang, yung mga oldies, but goodies. Ayun. And let's just ask those millennials, okay, assist mo si ma'am, ganito, ganyan. Along with wanting to feel invaluable and replaceable in our work, we also like to control those projects that we feel ownership over. So, attitudes like this na parang gusto mo ikaw lang might sometimes get in over our heads, and when we delegate or trust others with responsibility, so we can reduce stress by doing delegation. And of course, establish boundaries for when you're off work. However, I think hindi ito napapractice kasi kahit nga gabi natatawagan pa rin tayo. However, when we are public servants and we give the best that we can give. However, in order for us to be able to reset and to give our all to work, Sir PJ, when we're there, it's important to have routine periods of time when we're not working, thinking about work or checking work emails and calls. So, according to direct survey, ang 7 hours daw is the ideal amount of free time in a day. Most workers are constantly connected to their work. So, mas maganda po na bigyan natin yung mga teachers natin, yung mga employees natin ng time for their family. It's just so happen na because of this pandemic, yun nga yung sinabi ko kanina, yung separation of roles, ayun, nag-jungle na. So, instead of you at home, ikaw yung nagpo-portray ng nanay from 5 to, up to 10 p.m. ng gabi or like hanggang sa pagising mo. Ang nangyayari, 24 hours a day. Di ba, palit-palit ka. Ay, then, naging teacher ka. Maya-maya, magiging yaya ka. Maya-maya, magiging shooter ka. So, it sometimes gets stressful as well. Also, mitigate unreasonable expectation and be realistic about your goals, especially sa inyong IPCRF, OPCRF. However, isa sa mga tips na binigay sa amin ng professors namin, we were still studying, if you want to set a goal, set the highest. If you can just do it naman, if you are capable, if you know in your heart that you can, let's set the highest. So before yung grade as hanggang ngayon yung grade namin is A, my A, B, ganun. We want to set A para daw pag bumagsak kayo, nasa A my kayo. So kayo din, you set realistic but achievable goals naman. Ayun. So don't skip on your own free time. So if you have your free time, if you like for us sa amin, may work from home kami na araw, make the most of it. Huwag kayong mag-guilty na melds. Huwag kayong mag-guilty na natutulog, nagpa-power nap. It's not sleeping. It's actually power nap. Okay? Do not abuse yourselves, mga friends, mga teachers. Kasi we only have one body. You know? Ayan lang. When working in an office setting, do what you can to carve out the proper space to focus. Ayan, we're grateful, especially here in SGOD. Nagkaroon kami ng arrangement. So, sobrang linis na ng table namin. Feeling namin we can do so much in the day because of So, thank you sa aming OIC Chief, Sir Mark. Siya talaga yung nag-initiate. And it's very helpful. Sabi nila kasi, when you have disorganized table daw, science daw yun ng intelligence. Hindi ko sure kasi wala pa naman akong nabasang research study. But yes, sometimes because our creative mind is too fast, our minds think a lot of things, parang gustong may magawa ganito. However, it's not healthy. Again, one of the stressors in the workplace is multitasking. Sabi nga in the Bible, you cannot serve two masters. So you have to choose what you will be prioritizing as of the moment. Okay, just to add in stress management, so you keep realistic deadlines, we plan ahead of time, we take regular breaks and stretch. Here in the division of Masbate, what we do, 9 o'clock, meron tayong water break. So I hope in your schools, meron din kayong ganon. Or in your home, ayan. Okay, siguro may routine kayo, ganon. And of course, understand the standard operating procedures of your school or the place where you are working. In our case, sa DepEd. Have monthly or daily targets. Let's keep our desk clutter-free and avoid being part of gossips. Sometimes gossips can be stress reliever, but sometimes, most of the time, oftentimes, mas nakakadagdag siya ng burden. Lalo na kung nalaman mo yung sikreto ni Pedro. 'Di ba? Napapaisip ka pa tuloy. Instead na iniisip mo yung problema mo, iniisip mo yung ibang problema. So you focus on one task at a time. So there's exercise, what we call desk exercise that I will be showing later. I don't know if it's gonna move, pero let's just try. Okay, so this is the mini exercise. We have this glute stretch, yan, leg raise, and office squat stairs. These are available online, so you can just search through it. So sometimes our position when sitting, yun, nakaka-affect din yun sa ating stress, sa ating stressors, okay? Just taking a few minutes to do stretches at your desk can relieve stress, increase productivity, and most importantly, make you feel better. Now, if these are the benefits, then why are not we doing it? Sometimes, ay, teka lang, tatapusin ko lang to. Ayan. Sometimes, take breaks. Ayan, break. As much as possible. Pero hindi naman yung sobra. Because it relieves stress. It increases productivity. And, of course, we feel better. So, this is one of what we call desk exercises. This is the seated spinal stretch. So, what we do, okay, so kung nasa bahay kayo, may upuan, or nasa office kayo, or nasan man kayo, let's try this. So, you turn. So, What we do is we turn your sitting sideways in your chair. Okay, turn. So you are sitting sideways in your chair. Bring both feet flat on the floor. Okay, let's try. Let's twist towards the back of the chair, holding the back of the chair with both hands. So you ganon itsura. And then we turn ourselves 180 degrees. So you are facing the opposite side of the chair and do the twist on the other side. So I'm hoping na some of you are doing this exercise. This is what we call the seated spinal stretch. Okay. Next one is the neck rolls. Okay. So we take off our shoes before we start the stretch if you are wearing high heels. So close your eyes to feel the stretches in your neck. So let your chin drop down to your chest, yung tabako, okay? So you begin to circle your neck slowly, taking the right ear to the right shoulder, ayan, shoulder, head back, and then the left ear to the left shoulder. Now remember, this is not, hindi nyo siya yung iikot kasi malulula kayo. So you just try ganun lang. And then you go back. O, diba? Nakita niyo yung tabako. So try to keep your shoulders relaxed. Don't hurry through any areas of tightness that you come across. So you do this 3 to 5 rolls. Then switch direction. Okay. The last is the cat-cow stretch. Okay. So you bring again your both feet flat on the floor. You bring your hands onto your knees and you inhale, arc the back, as in arc talaga, and you look up toward the ceiling. And then exhale around the spine. So parang pag exhale mo, binabalik mo din yung likod mo towards. So you repeat 3 to 5 breaths. Okay? Okay. So these are actually coping mechanisms that we can use for us to combat stress. There are actually others. Some would say do exercise. Some would say that you sleep early. Some would say get 8 hours of sleep. Others eat healthy food. So there's a lot of things that we can do actually to manage stress. However, one thing in psychology that we talked about is this: the defense mechanism. Now, a lot of us are already having or practicing or exhibiting defense mechanisms unconsciously. Defense mechanism, according to Freud, are one way of our behaviors that people use to separate themselves from unpleasant events, actions, or thoughts. These psychological strategies actually help people put distance between themselves and the threats or unwanted feelings such as guilt or shame. So, since bata tayo, na-develop na natin yung defense mechanism. And I'm pretty sure some of us are already using it. Hindi lang nila alam na this is defense mechanism. Now, just a warning po, defense mechanism can be useful for short term. Pero if we're using it over and over again for a longer period of time, it can be psychologically draining and it can lead to maladaptive behaviors. Now, common defense mechanism is displacement, repression, sublimation, and regression. And later, we will find out what does it mean. So the most common, according to some of the articles that I've read, defense mechanism is denial. So we deny reality, that we are essentially protecting ourselves. So this occurs when we refuse to accept reality or facts. We block external events or circumstances from our mind so that we don't have to deal with the emotional impact. So in other words, we avoid painful feelings or events. So we deny, for example, a smoker, yan, teacher, smoking. Hindi naman, ano lang, occasional lang naman ako nag-smoke. Pero yun, nakakaubos siya ng half pack a day. So a parent, for example, evidence, sinabihan siya ng teacher na, your child is special, if we want to cultivate and develop her special skills, kailangan andun siya sa, hindi alis siya sa mainstream. So, ayaw, hindi, normal yung anak ko, normal. So what happens? We deny those facts and then sino nagsasuffer, 'di ba? So anyways, these are the signs. Yan, we refuse to talk. Now, if you refuse to talk to someone about a possible issue, sometimes it happens, 'di ba? Avoiding situations where you may have to face up to the truth. Hindi yan totoo. Especially in grief, in managing grief, the number one stage that we go through is denial. Hindi totoo na ayaw mo na sa akin. Charot. Or hindi totoo na may nangyari. Ayan. This is the first stage. Sabihin mo na, ay hindi ako, diretso agad ako sa acceptance. No. A normal human being starts from denial. Nagdi-deny talaga. It is normal. Huwag niyong i-deny. Filling your time with busy work so you don't have to think about a certain situation. Ay hindi, okay ako, wala akong problema. Yan, trabaho, tito, trabaho. So it's a defense mechanism of our body. And it's automatic. Ayan, yun yung something with defense mechanism. Kahit lumalabas siya unconsciously. Wherein with coping mechanisms, adaptive coping mechanisms, we choose to. We are aware, okay, I have to breathe. I have to do the simple breathing exercise. But with defense mechanisms, it just goes out automatically. It comes out to our mouth. It comes out through our behavior. So, yan, denial. So, ayan, in the picture, it says, it's not denial. I'm just very selective about the reality I accept. Okay? Another picture would say na, no thanks, I don't need any help. Pero kitang-kita na naman na that person is already in his, nasa well na siya, na-stuck na siya, hindi na siya maka-move on to other stage. Now, the second one is repression. Now, completely forgetting the experience. I always say this, our mind is very powerful. The mind makes the decision to bury the memory in your subconscious and thereby preventing painful, disturbing, or dangerous thoughts from entering our awareness. So when we talk about repression, we repress it from the word itself, repress. We completely forget the experience. This is often the case with, the serious ones, the child abuse, especially if you were younger. Kaya 'di ba, when they ask, parang na-experience ko na 'yan, but we cannot remember the exact kasi it's too painful for us to remember. For others, they have memory loss. Ayun, especially very traumatic talaga yung nangyari. So science, however, ito yung funny dito sa repressed memories. If there's a trigger na nag-cause nung previous experiences ng trauma, there's angry outbursts that are not proportionate to the trigger. That is why minsan 'di ba sabi nila yung galit, may isang stressor, pero yung reaction ko, yung galit ko is different from the other. Probably you might evaluate and assess, bakit ako nag-react ng ganon? Is there something nung kabataan ako, na galit ako, bakit ganito yung naging reaction ko? I remember one experiment study, yung mga bata, pinag-experimentuhan sila ng mga panahon, diba? Every time na nakakahawak sila ng something fuzzy, white na something fuzzy, may sound na ring. So, yung mga bata na shock, parang nagkakaroon sila ng negative emotions towards the white furry thing. When they grew up, nagkaroon ng study in quality, yung study after several years, yun. They found out those people na naka-experience ng ganun are scared with old individuals na may beard na puti. Nung time na yon in Europe, mahilig yung mga matatanda sa. So they grew up being scared with anything white na fuzzy. So, pero hindi nila naalala na yung experience na yon when they were young. So, the same thing with repression. Because of the emotional pain or emotional turmoil we have, na naka-experience tayo ng trauma, we try to forget about it. Normal lang yun sa atin. For us to move forward, we want to forget something painful. Now, probably, we experience nightmares, feelings of depression or anxiety that seems to come out of nowhere. So, if you feel na, parang I feel low, so sometimes we have to, evaluate our lives. Ano ba yung repressed memories natin? Okay, so for example, anger. So for people who suppress this one defense mechanism, we consciously suppress impulses. So we count to 10. But for those people na meet with an anger stressor, Yan. They put on a cheerful front and they unconsciously deny impulses. Repression acts to keep information out of conscious awareness. However, again, these memories does not disappear and they continually influence our behavior. Next, defense mechanism that I'd like to share with you is projection. This projection is putting your feelings or thoughts onto another person as though they were not that person's feelings and thoughts. It is the misattribution of a person's undesired thoughts, feelings, or impulses onto another person. Just like what a projector do, may linagal ka, and then, anong panahon, di ba, before may acetate pa. So, they put a piece of acetate and then pinoproject niya. So, same din. Minsan, this is usually the case of a spouse may be angry at their significant other for not listening. So when in fact it is the angry spouse who does not listen, so ang nangyayari, napoproject niya sa anak niya. Okay? Nagagalit din siya. For others, sa mga LGBT, there are people na homophobics. I'm not saying na yung mga homophobics are gays, ha? Pero because nagagalit sila sa kanila sarili nila kasi they feel this way, they feel that way, na parang hindi tama morally, spiritually, galit na galit sila sa mga tao na they can express freely themselves. So sometimes their angst, their galit towards themselves, they project it. And I don't know, pero some of us are using this defense mechanism. What is in us? You know? Kasi lalo na yung mga galit natin or yung mga repressed natin na, we can't project that. Ayan. It is a defense mechanism taking our own unacceptable qualities or feelings and ascribing them to other people. That's why nga sabi nila, may kasabihan na, kaya ka galit sa mga pangit kasi ikaw mismo galit ka sa sarili mo kasi pangit ka. So, let's not be hateful towards ourselves. For us, not to project. Okay? So, I hate myself. So, lumalabas sa bibig natin, yun, you know? Kaya, kabig ng dibdib, ano sabi to? Tulak ng dibdib, bibig, kabig. Okay, so let's be careful with what we say kasi it is actually a projection of yourself. Haha. Okay, next is displacement. It's just malapit na lang. Okay? Okay, displacement. This is what happens especially. Redirecting of thoughts, of feelings, and impulses directed at one person or object but taken out upon another person or object. Pinagalitan ka ng boss mo. Hindi pa na-get over because you want to ease that rejection, that frustration. Pag uwi mo, pinagalitan mo asawa mo. Itong asawa mo naman, hindi niya alam bakit mo siya pinagalitan. Pinagalitan niya yung anak niya. So, simpleng nahulog lang yung tinidor, yung kutsara. So, displacement involves taking out our frustrations, feelings, and impulses on people or objects that are less threatening. Ito, na-remember ko. Yung taong hindi siya na-employ, so na-reject siya ng company. Paglabas niya sa office, sinipa niya yung pusa. Okay? There's displacement that was going on in there. Kasi nakapil siya ng rejection, nakapil siya ng bakit ba ganon? So, pagtingin niya, yung usually kasi sa displacement, may victim. Yung weakling. So, yung pusa na very weak, walang kalaban-laban, sinipa niya. Okay? So, ayun. Let's be very careful with our defense mechanism kasi sometimes, imbes na nag-stop na sa'yo yun, nagiging cycle siya. So, it's not healthy. It's affecting our family. It's affecting our support group. And of course, avoidance. Ayan. We avoid problems. You'll never be the one who overcame them. So, if you avoid problems, you'll never be the one who overcame them. So, avoidance, simply, we pretend to see the full magnitude, but subtly, reduce the size of the problem by moving into the future. Okay? So, nakita natin may problema. O, ayan, yung tambak na trabaho na binigay. Ay, mamaya na yan. kakain muna ako. Ay, mamaya na yan, magnanap lang ako. So, ayun, sakit yung ulo ko. I'll deal with it later. Later ka ng later, nag-procrastinate ka, na inabutan ka ng one, kailangan na pala ipasa yung CO, yung classroom observation tool mo. Ay, mamaya ko na siya i-observe. May time pa naman. Ayan, hanggang sa, ayun, hindi na nagka-time. Thus, because of the long term na ginamit natin yung defense mechanism, we develop maladaptive coping. Ayan, malapit na tayo matapos. So, what are the maladaptive coping? Escape. Number 1, escape. Now, this maladaptive, when we talk about maladaptive coping mechanisms, these are strategies that causes further problem. So, ayun. So, cope with anxiety or stress. Some people may withdraw from friends. They may become socially isolated. They may absorb themselves in solitary activity, such as watching television, reading, or spending time online. Kasi masyado stressful makinig sa yung mga teachers mo gumagawa na ng requirements, nagpiprint na ng modules, and ikaw parang hindi mo pa feel, you resort to ay, mamaya na lang. Okay, I'll watch muna K-drama just to feel at ease, just for me to relax. Hindi mo naalala, alas 6 na. So, babalik ka rin naman sa school. Wala kang na-print na module or any requirements. Of course, there's also what we call unhealthy self-soothing. I'd like to apologize for those people who are drinking, who parang normal na sa kanila yung drinking, your smoking. However, the question kasi would be, does drinking and smoking eliminate the stress? Yes, it may comfort you for a period of time. However, it will not solve, or it will not parang hindi yun masosolve or magagawa ng paraan para ma-solve yung stress mo. Now, these what we call self-soothing behaviors are healthy in moderation, but may turn into an unhealthy addiction if it becomes a habit to use them to self-soothe. Some examples of unhealthy self-soothing could include overeating, yan, binge drinking, excessive use of internet or video games. So yan, be careful. Be careful po tayo. And of course, numbing. Now, these are also self-soothing behaviors, pero because of too much stress, ayan yung sinasabi natin. If you feel high level of stress, go to some person, go to a trusted individual and talk it out. Some people, because of too much stress or too much emotions running in their system, they seek to numb their stress by eating junk food, by excessive alcohol use, or worse, using drugs. Remember, whatever you put inside your body, it manifests throughout time. Now, illegal drugs are very harmful. We all know that. The effects of it is, hindi na po siya ma-alter. Once na-apektuhan yung brain mo, hindi na po masabi na, ay, ipaparehab, magkakaroon detoxification. No. It's a lifetime damage already. So let's be careful po of using substances. Also, we have to consider for ourselves. I'd like to share this with you. In us, some people has addictive tendencies. A lot of us, I don't know. For me, I am very much aware na I have high level of addiction. So, mabilis ako ma-addict. Hindi ako addict, pero mabilis ako ma-addict. Especially if it creates a good feeling afterwards. Let me share to you. I love milk tea. So, every day ako nagbi-milk tea. Just a trivia. So, I have a high tendency to be addicted to something. That's why I avoid those things that are bad for me, especially that I'm a mother. So, for you po, what are those things? Do you consider yourself mabilis na ma-addict or highly addicted? Highly addictive? Tama ba yung term? So, if you consider yourself na parang mabilis mag-enjoy sa mga bagay-bagay, then distance yourself to those things na highly addictive. such as smoking, alcohol, like cigarettes, alcohol, and drugs. Okay? Next is compulsion and risk taking. Now, one thing about teenagers is their heightened risk taking characteristics. Because they are emotionally driven, stress their risk taking skills are very high. So stress can cause some people to seek an adrenaline rush through compulsive or risk taking behaviors such as gambling, unsafe sex, experimenting with drugs, theft, or reckless driving. Remember po, when we experience stress, we experience adrenaline rush, we experience an amount of energy coming out. So, because of this, hindi natin alam kung saan natin i-channel. So, for some, they use or they turn to compulsive behaviors. Ayan, risk-taking. That's why po, very useful po that we exercise self-breathing relaxation techniques for us to clear our head. And lastly, self-harm. Ayan. People may engage in self-harming behaviors to cope with extreme stress or trauma. Let me share to you an experience that I had with a client before when I was back in my master's degree. This woman, bigla siya nagkaroon ng boyfriend and he doesn't know how to handle him. So, ang nangyari sa kanya, kasi na-shock siya sa behavior. Every time na nag-aaway sila, iniwan siya. So, hindi niya alam paano i-manage yung stress kasi she was covered, she was loved, kasi isa lang siya na anak. So, na-shock siya kasi iniiwan lang siya, nire-reject siya minsan. So, one way of to cope is naglalaslas, yung term natin, naglalaslas. And, nag-abuse din siya with drinking. So, these people who find themselves defaulting to maladaptive mechanisms have difficulty utilizing effective coping strategies. And probably because nung bata siya, hindi niya na-exercise, hindi siya naka-experience ng certain amount of stress, and hindi niya na-learn paano to adapt, how to develop an effective or adaptive coping mechanism. Remember, those who have difficult time knowing how to cope with anxiety, stress, or anger may fall into the habit of relying on a maladaptive coping mechanism. So consuming alcohol can often help people less feel stress in the immediate moment. But if a person comes to rely on alcohol or any other substance in the face of challenging situations, then they may eventually become dependent on the substance over time. Now, substance, we talk about alcohol, cigarettes, these are substances. Now, there's substance use. These are people na gumagamit lang. But however, if you become, or if you rely, or you depend, for you to feel relaxed, for you to overcome such thing, para maklear lang yung mind mo, kailangan mo inom, kailangan mo josi. Then, I think it's time to reevaluate your coping mechanism and ask yourself, does it really help you? Or it helps you just for that moment only? Okay? So, just to give you some light thoughts before we end this presentation, please read with me. Okay? It is impossible to be stressed when you are grateful. Times of stress are also times that are signals for growth. And if we use adversity properly, we can grow through adversity. When we indulge ourselves with positive, grateful, appreciative people, what is happening around us, the lesser the time we are about to think of stress, the lesser the time we think about toxic coping or maladaptive behaviors. So let's surround ourselves. Let us be grateful for every moment. So as Doc Willie Ong said, we work to live and we do not live to work. Have time for your family and yourself. Never ever compromise your health. All your money will be useless if you are not healthy. God has given us equally 24 hours a day, 7 times a week, 12 months in a year. He gave us freedom to choose. On top of that, a support group. It might not be a family, the real family that we have, the father and the mother, but it can be our peers, our
our teachers, colleagues. So ano pa ang excuse natin not to combat stress using adaptive coping mechanism? Let us choose wisely. We remember, we work to live, and we do not live for work. We do not live to work. Let's have time for our family. Happy Chinese New Year, everyone. And I hope that our cup is now full as we enjoy our adaptive coping mechanism. Thank you so much. Let's do the happy dance. Ay, ito ba ako?
That was so fascinating, Miss Divine. The informations were very helpful. So nice po. We assessed already ourselves with the levels of our stress or stresses. Kaya nga, my car is San RPMS. This program or this particular edition that we have right now is because of that. So, dahil po sa Karisan RPMS, pa-shoutout po muna sa mga taga Monreal National High School teachers na nanonood po ngayon. Ang pagbati po ay mula sa SDO Masbate at mula na rin po sa tao sa likod ng programang ito, si Sir Benchmes. Miss na daw po kayo ni Sir. Hi po sa mga National High School. Ayan. Let's have first something that would inspire us. Bringing you back. Apa. Ito po, mahalaga to, mahalaga. Wow. I would like to invite all the teachers to join in this. We are bringing you back Goro Tibay RPMS edition. Opo. So, larong to, patalasan po ito ng at pabilisan ng kamay. Ako po ngayon ang technical, nandyan po si Sir PJ. Ako po ang host, hindi po dahil po si Sir Rene ay punong abala. Abalang-abala po siya mga bagay-bagay. Ako na lang po muna ang ang mag-host. So, ihanda po ang inyong mga cellphone. Link na ipa-flash natin mamaya po sa screen. Lahat po ay maghanap na ng malakas po na connection dahil po amin pong papremyo dito ay kailangan nyo. Dahil kailangan nyo, ito ba ay load? Hindi po. Ito ba ay laptop? Lalong hindi po. Wala po kaming pera para sa ganyan kalaking halaga. Ito po ba ay cellphone? Hindi rin po. Sorry. Bond paper? Medyo mahal po sa bond paper. Yan. Ang ating pong magiging papremyo sa mananalo na guro o di kaya'y punong guro sa ating pong Gurong Mas Batibay RPMS Edition Quiz. Quiz portion ay isang set po ng Epson na ink. Ayan, yan po ay nasa 1,600 din po. So, I hope that you will look for a strong signal, a stable signal para po mabilis kayong makasagot. Paalala lang po sa ating mga kaguruan, mga school heads dyan o di kaya mga supervisors na nanonood, pwede po kayong maglagay ng buong ngalan, ang inyo pong paaralan at ang district para maging madali ang pag-claim ng inyo pong premyo. Pag-claim po ng inyong premyo ay pwede na pong magsimula sa Lunes. Po, dito lang po sa FPs, hanapin lang po ako, Melody Vargas, o di kaya Sir PJ. Ayan! So, handa na po. Handang-handa na po ba tayo? Maghanap-hanap na po tayo ng signal at pagkatapos po ng i-declare din po natin ang winner, At meron tayong clarifications po dahil kami po ay ang napakaraming mga katanungan tungkol po sa RPMS-PPST for this school year 2020-2021 is specifically under the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. So, meron po tayong mga ika-clarify. Ayan, pinagaan po natin ito, lalong-lalo na po ang inyo pong katanungan kung bakit hindi kayo naka 7 at 5 lang ang ibinigay ng inyong rater. Malalaman po natin yan. At for the meantime po, habang tayo ay nagkukonek ng ating mga questions sa ating pong Gurong Mas Batibay RPMS edition, pwede nyo pong i-access ang bit.ly/RPMS-PPST 2020-2021 para po makita ninyo ang buong package, especially designed po sa ating pong 2020-2021 na school year. Ayan. So, nakahanap na po ba tayo ng malakas na signal? Huwag niyo pong hahayaang lumagpas sa inyong mga kamay ang isang set po ng Epson na ink. Kasi po, kailangan nyo yan. Okay. Ano yan? Ang participants ay anim. 10. 10 na. 10 pa lang. Ayan, 10 pa lang po. Go, go! I-access nyo na po ang link. I-access, please. Access the link. Opo, sa link po mismo, hindi po sa comment. Yung pong link na nandyan po sa streams ng comment natin, i-click nyo po yan para po kayo ay makapasok sa ating game. Sige po. So, tayo ngayon po ay may 10 participants na. Join na po. Kung hindi po tayo manalo, at least we experienced quizzes. Ayan. Quizzes is one of the digital tools that we use, to assess the learning or the background knowledge of our participants. Okay. So, Sir PJ, meron na po tayong ilan? 13. And yan, pasok-pasok na po. I-click nyo lang po ang link. Nigay po sa stream para po tayo ay maka-join sa ating game. Yan. 14. Meron na tayong 14 out of ang dami nating manunood. Tapos, 14 pa lang, ang mga competitive. Let us all compete. Hindi naman po ito para sa, hindi naman po ito na natatakot tayong, defense mechanism, naalala natin kay Miss Divine, sometimes we would say, sila na lang, sila. Ayan, huwag po tayong masyadong mapagbigay. Masyadong, ayan, dumarami na daw po, ayon po sa ating update, ang ating pong mga nakapasok sa link para po sa quizzes. Pakilagay po ng inyong full name, ng inyong pong school at ng inyong pong district para po sa ating pag-click at para naman po sa inyong napakabonggang recognition. Recognition talaga. Ayan! Okay, shoutout po tayo dyan sa ating mga kaguruan na, nagme-message po dito sa stream. Good morning to all of you. Thank you for watching. I hope that you will still watch, after po ng ating Gurong Mas Batibay RPMS edition ay may isa po tayong maikli lang, mga 30 minutes po na clarifications na ito po ay pinamagatan namin, ang segment na yan ay pinamagatan po namin Karis sa RPMS. Okay! Frequently asked questions po, anticipated questions in relation to RPMS PPST 2020-2021. Okay, can we start na po ba sa ating Gurong Mas Batibay? Okay. 38. So we are giving you 10,000. Ayan, 10,000 hours for you to register. And I'm starting counting na po. 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. Sorry po, ang level kasi ng stress ko ay 5 lang, kaya ganyan. 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, and 10,000. We are now officially closing the link for the participants of Gurong Mas Batibay RPMS edition. And okay. And we are going to start with the game question number 1. Go! Ayan, exciting to ha. Ay, nandito na po ang ating host sa Gurong Mas Batibay. Okay. And okay, let's proceed to question number 2. Go. Okay. Ang galing naman ni Sir PJ. Nahihirapan po ang ating mga participants sa tanong na yan. Time's up. Let's proceed to, tignan nga natin ang leaderboard. Okay. Question number 3 in 2, 1, go! Talo na, talo na. Olats ba tayo, tol? Okay. Time's up. Time's up. Time's up. Okay, ayan. Go tayo. Next question. Di na po baling matalo, basta po natalo tayo na lumalaban. Kesa sa talong-talo tayo na hindi tayo lumaban. Oh. Oh. What happened? Okay, ayan. Time's up! Wow, masyado naman pong competitive ang mga tao. Ayan. Dahil po yan sa isang set ng ink. Sino kaya ang mananalo dito? Go na tayo sa next. Go! Time's up. Masaya to, ano? Okay. Sige, sige. Next question. Go! Pabilisan ng kamay, patalasan ng isipan. Yan. Combination of brains and hands. Ayan. Time's up. So, next question. Okay, nakikita po natin ang leaderboard. Galing. Next question. Go, wag tayong susuko. Laban lang. Ita-type. That's inano na siya na difficult na level. Time's up. Ay nako. Aha. Okay. Isa lang daw ang nakakuha ng tamang sagot, siya lang ang mabilis. Next question. Mhm. Ayan. Time's up. Talo? Olats ba? Olats? Hindi po maiuuwi, hindi po mapupunta sa Monreal ang isang set ng ink. Sino po ang ating winner? Tingnan natin. Meron pa. Go! Mhm. Oo. Talagang kailangan na talaga, sometimes kailangan mong bumitaw kahit hindi pa oras. If you still have time to back out and redeem yourself, then you have to. Dalawang tama. Last question. Ito na po ang magde-determine kung sino ang ating panalo. Oh! Okay, time's up! That was Gurong Masbate by RPMS edition. Lahat po ng katanungan ay may kinalaman sa RPMS-PPST ngayong 2020-2021. Ayan, lahat talaga naman po ay lumaban para makuha ang isang set ng Epson ink. So, meron na tayong i-declare na winner, Sir PJ? Okay, we are generating the results and we will be giving you back. Ano po? Andito na po ang result. Ayan. So, congratulations to, wow, tan tan Congratulations. Oo, pa-surprise ang result. Parang surprise kay okay. Aha. Parang ina-analyze po ng ating computer kung talaga bang karapat-dapat na i-declare ang mananalo. Pinag-iisipan niya pa po. Nagdi-disconnect po. Chine-check niyo po kasi ang background. Ha? Sino si Lon? Ayun. Pangalawa po, si Ma'am Mary Jane Uduhan na principal. And third natin is, Ma'am Jesseline Billones, yung ating dalawa po, yung rank 2 at rank 3 ay parehong principal. Oy, thank you so much to our school heads who are really watching us. Yung first natin ay si Lon. Kilala na natin yan. Siya po ay si Nonilon Junior. Abit Ariscon. Siya po ay master teacher ng Rondina Atendido National. Out po sa mga taga Rondina Atendido na pinapang nilang principal na si Ma'am Claudette Pilihera. Po Anlon. Oo nga, Sir Noni Lon. Congratulations, my lichen. Congratulations, Sir Noni Lon. Oo, prize. Ano po, when you come here, please claim this. So, congratulations po. Maraming salamat sa lahat who participate. We will be giving you more quizzes online. So, ngayon po, abangan nyo po ito. I know not abangan dahil andito na po sila. Mga ka-DepEd, sa ating mga minero at mga school heads, we give you the segment Car is an RPMS, and this will be no, not discussed rather, but this will be facilitated by our two trained po by the BHROD in relation to RPMS-PPST 2020-2021. Let's all welcome Sir Noriel Beroya and Sir Pablito Alba. Hello sa inyo pong dalawa.
Hello, ma'am.
Sir.
Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, fellow viewers.
Okay. Good day to all Masbate teachers and school heads, and to all who are watching us today. So happy Chinese New Year, sir.
Yeah, same to you.
So we have just listened to Ma'am Divine reminding us that we can be winners despite the pressures.
Yes, definitely. No, Sir June, we enjoyed a lot viewing Ma'am Divine's topic. And of course, to our fellow viewers, I know you learned a lot around the tips, orientation, and some defense mechanisms to cope up the stress.
Okay.
At alam naman natin, Sir June, na itong RPMS talaga siguro hindi natin maiisip, hindi natin sukat akalain kung anong magiging reaction ng mga teachers along this RPMS. Kung sila ba ay may stress or para sa kanila ito ay yes na yes.
With the stress management that episode of Miss Divine, kaway-kaway tayo dyan sa mga school heads, especially with the implementation of the SEED of the ELSG. But with the support and cooperation of our fellow teachers, we can do it. Because we cannot do it alone, but with the support of our teachers, then we can do it.
Yes, definitely you're right, Sir June. So,
Especially now that it's a holiday, so sit back and relax and watch this episode called Is an RPMS with Sir Noriel.
oh yes. So, this time silimulan po natin ang ating usapan with stress or yes na yes. So, my dear viewers, magpapakita po kami ng importanteng mga paksa at ang magiging kasagutan niyo lang po ay stress or yes na yes. So, una po, RPMS in the time of COVID-19 is stressed or yes na yes. So just key in your answer on the comment box below, my dear viewers, and try to expose your feelings kung ano bang inyong nararamdaman kung marinig niyo po ang RPMS in the time of COVID-19.
So bakit nga may RPMS sa DepEd at ito ay patuloy pa rin sa kabila ng pandemic?
Kaya nga, Sir Jun, but then,
So how many yes na yes?
over. Okay, salamat po sa very active participation of our dear viewers. So talking with your answering back to your question, bakit ba may RPMS? Kaya nga po kahit COVID-19 is still ongoing pa rin ang RPMS. Kaya whether we like it or not, talagang hindi natin ito pwedeng isang tabi lamang, Sir June. Because according to CSM Memorandum Circular Number 6, Series 2012, or Guidelines in Establishment and Implementation of Agency Strategic Performance Management System, or SPMS, ang lahat ng ahensya katulad ng halimbawa, DSWD, DNR, DPWH, yes, sila po ay may SPMS or Strategic Performance Management System. Samantala po tayo dito sa DepEd, ay meron po tayong RPMS or yes, Results-Based Performance Management System.
So at dahil ito ay mandated ng Civil Service Commission, nangangahulugan lamang na lahat ng kawani sa gobyerno, kasama na tayong mga guro at mga school heads at lahat ng personnel sa DepEd ay dapat na mag-undergo sa performance management system per DepEd Order Number 2 Series of 2015 na parte kanina ng quiz o ang guidelines on the establishment and implementation of the results-based performance management system or RPMS in the Department of Education.
Ayan. So, wala pong excuse, mapabaguhan man or datihan ng mga guro, ano? So, kailangan po talaga mag-perform tayo. So, kasi nga, it's really mandated na talaga hindi po dapat natin ito isnabin, my dear teachers. So, ang bawat isa po ay dapat hindi ma-stress sa RPMS, Sir June.
Through RPMS, we're able to know the teacher's performance, their strengths as well as their weaknesses, which will lead to having quality teachers.
So, at ang alignment po ng PPST sa RPMS ay isang napakagandang undertaking na kung saan ang mga objectives ay ang mga standards which are expected from the teachers as stated and the Philippine Professional for Teachers.
At yun po ang dahilan kung bakit may RPMS sa DepEd.
Ayun. So, klaro-klaro po, my dear viewers, our dear viewers. So, talagang hindi po dapat natin ito itatanong sa sarili, bakit talaga may RPMS? So, may mga katanungan po ba ang ating mga viewers? Ma'am Melody, back to you. So, ayan, Sir John, So, anyway, baka hindi pa masyado ready si Ma'am Melody. So, lumako naman tayo sa susunod na item.
And what's that?
So, yes na yes pa rin ang kanilang sagot or stressed ba sila pag nabasa o narinig nila ito? RPMS cycle. Okay. So, just key in your answer, our dear viewers, sa comment box below. So, ano ba talaga sa inyong pakiramdam ang RPMS cycle? Are you familiar with this?
So, what is an RPMS cycle?
Yes, sir. Ano ba talaga ang RPMS cycle?
So, in the Department of Education, this is katumbas ito ng isang school year sa RPMS cycle. And for this school year 2020-2021, the RPM cycle starts in January and will end in July. So that is the adjusted timeline for this school year 2020-2021.
Stress, yes na yes, tapos stress.
Okay. So
yun.
Thanks po, Ma'am Melody. So dapat din nating tandaan na mahalagang pagdaanan po ang bawat phase upang matin natin ang purpose ng RPMS. So as a cycle, hindi pwedeng mag-advance sa isang phase.
So huwag natin kakalimutan mga sumusunod na phases at ang mga timeline. So first, the phase 1, which is the performance planning and commitment. The adjusted timeline rather is first week of January 2021. So kanina, napag-usapan kung ano yung isang document. So yung signed IPCRF, yung kasi ang nakakaligtaan natin before. Usually, tuloy-tuloy na tayo sa phase 3. Nakakalimutan natin yung signed IPCRF and signed IPCRF-DP during phase 1. So phase 2 will be the performance monitoring and coaching. And this is year-round. At magkakaroon tayo ng mid-year review. And this time, this will be on March 2021. So tandaan po natin mga kaguro at kapwa school head that the MRF or the mid-year review performance, ito yung talagang kailangan ng mga teachers para mag-gauge natin kung saan ba yung performance nila para ma-coach natin sila.
Yes, sir. Yun, napaka-importante din po.
Yes.
Remember, checkpoint po ito natin, lalo na po sa mga school heads na dapat talaga ma-monitor nila.
Of course.
So, monitoring this March 2021, talagang itong dahilan para ma-monitor po ng mga school heads kung hanggang saan yung na-achieve ng kanilang mga teachers along the RPMS objectives.
Because coaching and feedback is a continuous process, and this must be sought also by the ratee, and at the same time, this must be given also by the ratee to the ratee.
Yes, definitely.
And the third phase is the performance review and evaluation. Or this is a week after graduation, or this year, this is on the 3rd week of June 2021. So ito na yung nagkakaroon na ng final computation, signed IPCRF with the computed final rating of the ratee. And of course, the last phase, the performance rewarding and development planning, and this will be done on July 2021. So take note of the adjusted timeline as issued by the USECA Sus Antonio.
And remember, this is applicable only on
yes, exclusive this for school year 2020-2021 lang. So this is just for this school year.
Ma'am Melody, may katanungan po ba tungkol sa RPMS cycle?
So far po sa ating
Ayan. So far po, sa ating screen, wala naman po ng mga nagtatanong. Pero yung may tanong na nandito po ay later po, iti-treat natin.
So may mga katanungan pa dyan, pwede kayong mag-comment dyan. No? So anyway, bahala po dyan si Ma'am Melody.
Yes. So dumako naman tayo sa susunod na item.
Yes.
Again, stress or yes na yes? Self-assessment tool. So please key in your answer in the comment box below.
So ang tanong, bakit hindi dapat tayo may stress sa self-assessment tool or sa SAT? So dyan, malalaman natin kung stress ba talaga dyan or yes na yes kayo dyan.
Ayun. So, fellow teachers, be familiar with this tool. Kasi nga po ang SAT ay maaaring electronic o paper and pen. Depende po sa choice ng guro. So, madali ding masundan ang mga bahagi ng ESAT na binubuo ng introduction, demographic profile, objectives at core behavioral competencies.
So anong sagot, Ma'am Melody?
yes na yes daw po sila
Yes
sa
na
ating
yes.
SAT.
Okay, very good.
Sa ating SAT.
Tandaan po natin, importante din dapat ay maging honest tayo sa pagsagot sa SAT. Because during the previous practices, para nagkakaroon lang tayo ng just for the sake of compliance, hindi natin nabibigyan pansin yung pag-accomplish ng SAT honestly. And a reminder also that confidentiality must be observed. It is only the rater that can view his or her SAT result. So even us, school heads and the ICT coordinator. So that's another point.
So ganun po ka-importante ang SAT, sir.
Of course, kaya dapat honest tayo para iyan ang kasi ang maging basis ng development plan during the phase 1. SAT result.
So dapat talaga masagutan niya ng guro during phase 1.
And dapat honest sila kung ano talagang kailangan nila. Lalabas kasi dyan yung strengths and weaknesses nila. So the strengths and the development needs.
Okay.
So ito ay importante dahil ito maging basehan sa paggawa ng development plan na gamit din sa gagawing monitoring and coaching sa mga guro. In that way, the teachers can also reflect on the different objectives related to their professional work. It is then consolidated, which will be used in the crafting of the school development plan, which on the other hand, will be the basis of the learning and development plan of the school.
Ayun, tama kayo dyan. So, klaro po, our dear viewers, ang kahalagahan po ng SAT. Huwag din po natin kalimutan na ang consolidated results ng school ay ipapasa po dito sa HRDS, care of Ma'am Melody Vargas.
Okay. So, Ma'am Melody, sa ngayon po, meron pa ba mga katanungan po sa SAT? Kung yes sila, siguro talagang gamay na nila lahat yung sa SAT. So, they're all familiar with the SAT.
So far, sir,
wala pa naman pong katanungan. Yung ating nakuha ay mamaya po natin
Okay.
sasagutin.
So, ituloy natin. Since nabanggit na po kanina,
Yes, tuloy-tuloy
tanong naman po
lang.
natin, this time, stressed or yes na yes sa development plan? So please type your answers in the comment box. So, ang development plan, dapat familiar tayo lahat ay mayroong columns for strengths, development needs. So when we say strengths, these are the competencies rather that were consistently displayed by the AD. Development needs, action plan, timeline, and resources needed. So yan ang mga entries doon sa development plan. And with the action plan, separated by yan with the learning objectives and the intervention. Ano mang gagawin? So that will be the action plan of the development plan.
Ayan, so importante po yun, So ang strengths po, ang development needs, anong core behavioral competencies and functional competencies ay ilalagay din. Ano ang pagkakaiba, Sir Ju, ng functional competencies at ng core behavioral competencies?
So, madali lang naman tingnan eh. Unang-una ang functional competencies. So when we say functional competencies, these are the objectives na indicated sa IBCRF. Yung 11 objectives that indicate sa IBCRF rather. Samantala, ang core behavioral competencies rather ay ang mga soft skills such as teamwork, innovation, service orientation, professionalism and ethics dyan papasok. Pero ang lahat ng ito ay makikita din sa SAT. So don't worry, lahat ng ito nakikita sa SAT.
Kailan po, Sir Ju, dapat gamitin ang SAT?
So yun ang misconception yun sa class. Ang alam ng iba, isang phase lang gagamitin yung SAT. So tatalakayin lang natin yan. Ano? So kailan?
Okay, during phase 1 of the RPMS cycle, PCR development plan of teachers shall be done after taking the SAT. considering the PPST indicators of the current rating period.
Okay. So take note that ginamit na niya sa phase 1. So the development plan is then updated by the teacher during the mid-year review, and that will be on the phase 2. And it will be finalized during phase 4. Kasi nga, itong development plan ang gagamitin natin for teachers development, training and development. So the result of this will be the phases also. So kailangan. So hindi lang isang phase, kung hindi, rather phases 1, 2, and 4.
Good. So klaro-klaro po our dear viewers. Meanwhile, the school development plan shall be done after all IPCRF development plans of teachers are consolidated and shall consider PPST indicators from both the current and the previous rating periods.
Then, kaya naman napakalaga ng SAT at development plan. Ito ay upang ma-enhance ang strengths at at the same time, ma-overcome ang weaknesses ng mga guro na magiging daan upang sila ay magiging quality teachers who will tend to lose, of course, quality learners.
Ayun.
So, this time, let's talk about the classroom observation and classroom observation. Meron pa ba ngayong classroom observation in this time of pandemic?
Kaya nga kanina, sir, nabasa ko dun sa question yata, no? So, ang gagaling ng mga sumagot doon. But at any rate, meron po, and it's very interesting topic. So, I know everybody wants to talk about these things. So, let me see, titignan na ulit natin kung anong nararamdaman ng mga ating viewers kung marinig nila yung CO at COT. So, stress or yes na yes?
For CO and COT.
Yes.
And nalalaman nyo naman natin mamaya kay Mama Ludi.
So again, please put your feelings towards them through the comment section below.
Ano ba ang karamihan sa mga sagot niya?
Opo. Pag marinig nila yung CO or COT.
Sigurado dyan. Parang doon tayo sa S.
So ayan.
So what will be the result?
Nakamute.
So especially now, ano ba talaga ang kailangan class ng observation? Kanina may tanong.
I-stress daw po sila, Sir Jun.
During the face-to-face, na-stress na ngayon ibang teachers how much more this time of pandemic.
Ayan, I know our dear viewers, whatever you're feeling right now, so we can say that you will be enlightened with our discussions today, as much as the BHROD has done to all of you.
But fellow teachers, don't be stressed. Andiyan ang mga students, andiyan naman ang mga highly proficient teachers to assist to be technical assistants, especially this time of pandemic. And yes, sir, we're talking about classroom observation. How many times ba ang teacher dapat ma-observe for this school year? Kanina yata sa quiz, so yes, niyan. So, for others na hindi na kanina nakikita ng tamang kasagutan, ilang classroom observation.
Ayan, so Sir Jun, this time of pandemic, dalawa lang po dapat ang maging classroom observation.
And when will be that?
From January to May 2021. Kaya po dahil February na ngayon, kailangan po nakaumpisa na po tayo mag-CO, lalo na po yung mga schoolet na may maraming sakop ng mga teachers.
So, kagaya ng mga central schools, in our case, for example, we have 36 teachers. Wow. In your school, how many teachers do you have? How many teachers are you there?
28.
Okay. Mas lalo pa sa mga secondary schools, I think, may more than 50. At tama lang yan. So, how many indicators ba ang kailangan i-observe during the classroom observation?
So, this time, sir, medyo bumaba na rin.
Ilan na lang?
Kung kanina dalawa lang CO, ngayon 3 lang din ang indicators.
So,
and those were 3 indicators. So, 1, 5, and 7 indicators.
So, objectives 1, 5,
and this can be found in IPCRF tools.
Yes.
So, ang tanong, if ayaw, sir, ng teacher magpa-observe, okay lang ba?
Bakit ayaw?
Ewan, sir. So, ano mangyayari pag hindi siya magpa-observe?
So, siguro, kung ayaw niya magpa-observe, hindi wala siyang classroom observation. Walang classroom observation ng teacher. And yan, ang pinaka-important, dahil yan ang main on MOV for indicators that you've mentioned, that indicators 1, 5, and 7. So, main. When you say main, no, that is non-negotiable.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin wala siyang rating?
Meron naman siyang rating, and that is 1, only 1. Kasi nasa 2 naman na 1 when there is no acceptable evidence was shown. Dahil ikaw, gusto mo magkaroon ng 1 rating.
Ayun.
And even our fellow teachers, siguro wala naman kayo gusto sa atin na 1. So, kailangan natin magpa-observe sa ating mga raters. So, magpa-observe.
So, what if, Sir Jun, may naka-leave of absence? Lalo na po kung talagang official po kanilang leave.
That is the same arrangement po yan ng dati. So, i-observe natin ang teacher pagbalik niya, Ngayon po kasi, tatlong indicators na i-observe sa classroom observation na i-observe kahit anong quarter pwede niya. So dati, per quarter may specific indicators, pero ngayon, swak na swak niya. Pagbalik na lang niya, especially during the maternity leave. So pagbalik niya, at least fresh na naman ang mga teachers.
So ayan, so talagang kayang-kaya po namin mga guro. Ano?
Kaya yan ng mga guro. Ngayon po lilinawan natin, no? Na dahil ang SDO Masbate Province ay modular distance learning ang learning delivery modality, ang classroom observation natin ay magaganap during the LAC session. Malinaw naman po ang guidelines at tayo magkakaroon ng LAC session at doon po ang class observation papasok. So sa case ng mga schools na may MDL or modular distance learning, yun po especially option 3 or LAC session lang po talaga pwede sa classroom observation. So take note sa LAC session lang po tayo magkakaroon ng classroom observation. And that will be scheduled by the school heads, especially that for each LAC, for each cell, minimum members of 3 and a maximum of 15, including the leader. So dyan magkakaroon ng arrangement between teachers and of course the other leaders, which are the highly proficient teachers like you, sir.
Yes, sir. So ayan, our dear viewers, dadako naman tayo ngayon sa Classroom Observation Tool or COT.
Ang CO tools po natin mga kapaguro at mga kapwa school head ay kasama din po sa package na na-mention na kanina ni Melody na nasa bit.ly/RPMS-PPST 2020-2021. So gamay na natin po yan. Ang code of green ay sa teachers 1 to 3 at ang blue naman ay sa master teachers 1 to 4. So familiar na kayo, di ba? Green for teachers 1 to 3 and blue for master teachers 1 to 4. At alam namin na ito ay kilala nyo na ng mga forms ng mga tools rather.
Ayan, exciting yan, Sir June. Lalo-lalo na tayong mga raters, so being the high profession teacher.
Yes.
So hindi natin dapat dalhin ang mga tool na yan along the journey of our classroom observation.
Of course. Yan ang one of the learnings natin doon during the BHR, the TOT at Santo Domingo Albay conducted the BHROU. So alam naman natin na ang ONF lang, observation notes form lang, dapat nadala ng rater habang ginagawa ang classroom observation. No more, no less. Yun lang, ONF.
Ayan, exactly, Sir June. Napaka-interesting. Very interesting ang topic na yan mamaya. Ibibigay yan sa atin na at i-discuss siya na sa ng ating dalawang kasama, si Sir Rocky at si Sir Mars.
Bibigyan yan kasi nga naman hindi pwedeng dahilan na nag-integrate lang ng lesson ng ibang subjects ay 7 na agad. Sabi nga doon, di ba? Sabi doon sa napaka-generous na naman ng mga students ng raters kasi karamihan doon nagbibigay talaga ng 7. So dapat kung ano lang ang nasa ONF, yun lang ang magiging basahan natin and para mag-assess, i-assess using the rubrics. So yun lang.
Yes, sir. At ang naalala ko dyan ay inumpisan talaga ang pag-assess na ibibigay na rating sa 5 para sa mga proficient teacher. At 6 naman para sa aming mga highly proficient teachers. So ayan, so very exciting. Ano, Sir June?
So at least meron na siguro sila ng lalaman. Meron lang mga kasagutan sa mga katanungan.
At mamaya sasagutin niya sa magiging discussion mamaya hapon. So, ngayon, Sir June, okay?
Ano?
Okay na ba?
So, pansamantala.
Pansamantala tayong ma-melody.
Ay, okay. Ayan, thank you so much, Sir June and Sir L'Oreal. Meron po tayo dito mga tanong sa ating po mga teachers. First question po na kanina po ba po naka-harvest habang nag-discuss po si Ms. Divine? Ano lang po ang mangyayari? Kasi dalawang teachers lang sila sa school. Meaning po, the TIC and another teacher. So, syempre po, magla-last session sila. So, Sir L'Oreal and Sir June?
Sa amin po, ma'am, may case po niyan. So, dahil dalawa po sila, remember, ang lock member ay dapat minimum of 3 and maximum 15.
Yes.
So, yung school principal po namin ay in-invite na lang po sila sa central para mag-attend po doon ng lock. So, definitely, yun din po mangyayari.
Or, they can merge with another school na very near sa kanila.
So that's Luma Melody.
With the arrangement, po, sir.
Cluster na lang,
Ano po, sir?
cluster schools lang, especially if those schools na maliliit ang number ng teachers, at kapag lang natin ang number of teachers.
So thank you so much for that, Ma'am Virgilia Eden. Mula po sa Esperanza District, sana po ay clear na ang sagot sa inyong katanungan.
Like mo. Okay na? Okay na.
Okay, let's have now the next question from Ma'am Cheryl Adorna. Hindi naman po lingid sa kaalaman natin lahat na meron po tayong mga nag-RBI na selected lang po na mga districts and school. Yung pong nare-reach lang ng mga frequencies. Ang tanong niya ay ito. Kami daw po na mga nag-RBI, pwede na daw po ba gamitin yun sa CO ang kanilang naka-stream or naka-air na lesson?
Sa pagkakaalam ko, yung video lesson nila sa RBI, ma'am.
Yun po mismo, sir. Habang nag-i-stream po yung, nag-i-air rather. Nag-i-air ang kanilang lesson.
Hindi pa rin.
Tapos, CCO na po sila ni Raver.
Hindi pa rin kasi nandun pa rin tayo sa MDL. Stated, parang sinabi yata yung Sir Caloy na, whether we are in MDL3 or digital, then RPM, PBI, still, sa last session pa rin magkakaroon tayo ng classroom observation. And maybe there will be some verification with Ma'am Melody also for that. Ma'am Sherry.
Sir, actually po, tinanong din po natin yung PHROK about this concern. It is because we have been questioned or we have been receiving questions in relation to this. Ano po, Sir PJ, the answer is we are going to have the third option pa rin.
Third option pa rin.
Modular distance learning, yun po yun. Yun po talaga. So we really have to stick to the rules. So thank you so much po, Ma'am Sherry, for that. Let's make it official. Nasa modular distance learning, and this will be under lock session. Kahit na po yung nasa ganyan po modality. Okay, thank you so much. Meron pa ba tayong mga katanungan dyan sa ating comment section? And we are inviting you to send your questions. We will be monitoring your questions, and if we cannot answer po, DHROD will have the answer. They are just a message away.
Yan. So maraming salamat po, Ma'am Melody. So this time, Sir June, mag-shoutout ka ba? Ikaw ang muna mag-shoutout ka. Anyway.
Okay, ako na mag-shoutout, nagkahiyaan sila.
Sige, mag-shoutout kami.
Shoutout po sa mga student district.
Of
Salamat
course.
po sa pagpapahiram ninyo sa inyong Central School Principal. Yan, si Sir June po. And sa Balod Central School under Balod North District. Sa mga kasama po nating at school head, maraming salamat sa pagpapahiram po kay Sir L'Oreal. Kung kayo po ay may mga katanungan, mag-please nyo po makukuha ang mga kasagutan sa kanila. Okay, sige po, back to you. Back to the studio.
Ayan, Sir June.
So what now?
So again, this is Sir Noriel Beruya from Balod Central School.
And this is Sir June Alba from Baleno Central School, Baleno District. And shout out din kay Ma'am Nel, our PSDS. So mamayang hapon, meron pa po tayong isang session. Kita-kita po tayo mamayang hapon. So maraming salamat sa inyong panonood. At least, sana nagkaroon ng mga clarifications. Nagkaroon tayo ng naging malinaw yung mga agam-agam nyo, mga katanungan nyo with this RPMS with Sir Noria.
So Thank you again. Happy viewing, Balasan School teachers.
Okay. Happy lunchtime also, special to the Balasan School teachers.
Okay. O yun. Grabe talaga ang Karis. Ang
Sige.
Ayan po, maraming salamat po kay Sir Noriel at kay Sir June. Maraming salamat sa oras po na ibinigay din ninyo. Mamayang hapon po ay meron tayong isang napakahalagang segment na dapat po ninyong abangan. Ito po yung mga kasagutan sa inyong usual na tanong. Bakit ako ni-rate ni school head ng 5 lang? Ganito na nga, nag-integrate na ako. So, I would like to invite you all to have a copy of the RPMS package under the COVID-19 pandemic. Just access bit.ly/RPMS-PPST 2020-2021 para po malinawan ninyo or malinawan po kayo sa kung ano man ang pag-uusapan natin. And this will be an intensive discussion under po ng facilitation ni Sir Mars at ni Sir Rocky, kasama po ng team na na-train din po ng DHROD for the RPMS-PPST 2020-2021. Please, sana po habang tayo ay nanonood mamayang hapon, ay hawak-hawak po natin ang ating RPMS tools na meron pong rubrics, na meron pong mga clarifications and all. So yan po, huwag po kayong aalis, huwag niyo po kaming iwanan. Mamaya 1 o'clock hanggang 3 o'clock po tayo, 2 oras sa umaga, 2 oras sa hapon. This time po, we will have a break. Sana po ay maging okay po. Huwag po kayong ma-stress. Maging okay po ang inyong mga lunch. Okay? Thank you so much and we will see you this 1 o'clock.
Invincible.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I need you to listen, I need you to hear, and don't show any fear. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.